Welcome to the new lesson. We continue working on the search. First of all, let's work on the styles for these containers so that we can see the changes on the site. Now, let's move to our source code. We are carefully working in the very important game store. I remind you that the classes that we have previously already defined earlier are game placeholder and game result in our project structure and framework. We will focus on them now. So, for game placeholder, we need to set the following styles in the application. That means specifically the elements such as border radius and background. We set the background without a variable since we only have one color version. For instance, we also need to set the size. In particular, for the size we use the calc function to calculate, and let's calculate. So we have 6 in a row and a gap of 16 pixels. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's use the calculator. 5 multiplied by 16 pixels, gap equals 80. And divide by 6 columns, that comes out to approximately 13.33 for each of them. To determine the width of our block, we start by dividing 100 by 6, which gives us a result of approximately 16.66. This calculation is crucial because it helps us establish the percentage width of our block. Therefore, the width of our block will be 16.6% minus 13.3 pixels, which accounts for any necessary adjustments. It is important to note that the parent of this container is this block, which plays a significant role in the overall layout and structure of our design. It seems we haven't set styles for it yet, so I'm creating a new selector. It will have display flex and flex wrap, gap of 16 pixels. Rob. And row gap 24 because it differs by row for each row. Additionally, the placeholder should also have a height. The height is 360 pixels. And one more thing, they should pulsate. This will create some animation as if loading is happening, as if we are waiting for something, not just showing static icons. To achieve the desired effect, let's explore using animation. We will set up the pulsation effect with care, ensuring it is smooth and visually appealing. This involves adjusting the timing, and it will display endlessly. We are now going to create a pulsation animation effect for this particular element. This means that initially the opacity is set to 1, which is its full visibility. As the animation progresses, at a certain point in the middle, the opacity will gradually decrease to 50%, making it semi-transparent. This change in opacity creates a pulsating effect that can be visually appealing and is often used to draw attention to specific elements on a web page or application. Finally, as the animation reaches its conclusion, the opacity will return to 1. Restoring the element to its original full visibility. This entire process helps in enhancing user engagement by adding dynamic visual interest. Alright, indeed, that sounds good. Let's take a look and check carefully to see if our placeholders are indeed there and if they are present. Open the search. Yes, here are our placeholders, and they are beautifully pulsating. Wonderful. The next style will be applied to game result. Here we can slightly optimize the sizes since they are the same for us. We will do it this way. That is, in stitch result, we have divs no matter what classes are there, and we will transfer into them. This style related to the block's width and the height. I'm not sure if we will make the height static or if it will be dynamic, depending on the header. Here are its lengths, but on the other hand, I see we are cutting the header here. In any case, we do not set a static height on the container. Let's look further at the structure. So, the image has some class, and there is a container for the image. Therefore, I will now write the style for it, because there is not much to write on GameResult itself. So, the width, 100%, we inherit it from the block we set, height 340. Bieg. Inside we will have image tags, MD, and this MD tag should act as a wrapper. Set the height and width to 100% and a fit to you. Then for the image we will also set a bottom margin, 16 pixels. The next element is the game box meta. Inside the game end result. And what we have for the game meta? Actually, meta styles are not needed. What it contains inside are two other containers. So I don't see the container with the price yet. What selector I can use? Most likely there is no selector there. We will now see what is generated in the HTML, but I can for the title because H3, I'll set the following styles. Truncation to one line. Urbanist. Yes. Hi. The font can be removed here. The thickness can be removed. Let's take a look. So wonderful. We have truncation happening, but no symbol. No, scroll, I can't scroll them. I have scrolling. Background. And regarding the price, I see that only the cost itself is loading, but not the entire component. So we will fix this issue now. Let's first fix the scroll. So it can be scrolled. And add an ellipsis to make it clear that this title is truncated. So for truncation, we need to insert an ellipsis in the text flow. In workflow, we have it. We seem to have everything. Let's add white space. But hooray. And the width, 100%. When it has the width, it will understand that everything that goes beyond the limits needs to be truncated. Now it's clearer. You see we added 3 dots. It's clear that this title is cut off. But everywhere it's copy-paste and the same word, so it seems like everything is squashed, but in reality everything will be fine. Next, I was assigned a border for the image. I assume there too 8 pixels. Yes, 8 pixels. Let's move up to the image. Border radius of 8 pixels. Next, let's move up to the container and set it there. Let's see what we have. what containers are there. So there's a general one. This includes everything, and for the search results of search result. This is a little bit not that one. Here we have two containers. We'll set the scroll on them now. Then we'll copy this class. Maximum height. Overflow. Não automatically disable the scroll bar. For WebKit, and so the only moment, again out of habit, I inserted nesting. This is simple CSS, so there can't be nesting here. Let's move it to a separate selector like this. So okay, we added this scroll. Let's look at the page. So our height here has a different logic because we didn't set the flex structure on this. More main class of the network container. If we set it, then this will have its own height, and this one will have its own, and then our 100% of the parent height, and this scroll will work. So let's do this on the network container. We will add display, flex direction, columns from top to bottom. And at the same time, the height and width should also be 100%. Let's ensure so that it occupies the entire available area. We'll also set box sizing to border box. Let's check now. Wonderful. Now we have a scroll here inside our search. So it will be very little. By default, there should be 3 lines. We don't have auto loading on scroll here. So we probably need to set a higher default. Let's make it 18. Look, we probably don't have 218 in the database right now, but they will appear later. The next step we need to implement is to sort it out. With this price, we called the getPrice method in the code here, but it's not complete. So now we will edit and refer to another method, getPriceHTML. We need the price to include both the currency symbol and discounts. In WooCommerce, there is a simple price, get regular price. There is a get sale price, and when we need to display everything in one line, we use get price HTML. So wonderful, not a single product has a discount. Let's enable it specifically. Make sure that when there's a discount, it's also in this container, not 2. If there are 2 separate elements, then we will create a container for it. This one with the discount. Only doesn't have a separate container. Therefore, we will still have to add one. And then we'll attach the style to this class. So, according to the layout, the product, that is the old price. It's on the other side for us, so we'll move it now as well. I want to use flex order. Just order. Next. There's also a gap. Essentially, our meta is flex. So, well, Here, we'll do something like this. 5 pixels. And the underline, for some reason, didn't disappear. Let's find the element it is applied to. So, I went through the tree and found what the cause is, whether it's not the 2 cameras of the CO, but from our link. That is, if we, figuratively speaking, have a link on the container, if we apply it to the text decoration, then there is no border. Therefore, we will go up to game result. The link immediately opens. To it, we will set text's decoration, that is, disable this border. And on this text as well. Text decoration. We need to apply. Wonderful. Now, we get the result that we need to achieve like this. We've done half the work. When closed, it disappears. When opened, a new request is made. So the next step, we need to create a new server request while typing and receive the data. That is, send the string. I wrote to the server and receive a response. Let's create a new request for this. Let's proceed to the code. So here is our first request. We can attach here, attach to. We will hook onto the set change. When we add something there, we add in band. It is input. Firstly, we will take this value. We need a variable for this. We will take its value, and so on, and continue this process. We change this text. We change it to network and result. Next, while the request is being processed, we need to show the placeholder. We need to clear everything, show the placeholder, so we will call the function show placeholder. After that, we need a request. Let me copy it so I don't have to type it out. So we will send the request. We will already be addressing to another action. Let's call it switch. Let's call it switch games, but title a more thematic name. Besides the action, we need to pass data. So we passed the string that we will search for. We placed it in this variable switch item. Next, we receive the response, and here we perform a check if we received a response, and that is its length is greater than 0. We access the data field in our response in this way, therefore data twice, and its length more 0. Just don't forget to apply the conditions here, like this. So we will insert our films. Otherwise, if we didn't find anything, here's what should happen. That is, first of all, we will change the text to title element. Then we will show the placeholder. And we will need to execute the query again here. This first one that we executed, again. So it turns out we need the function where we will insert that query. Let's write it like this for now, load uCloud games. We will just create it. So in this case, if we don't get a response, but when we do get a response, we do this. Probably need to move from here to here. We can cut here. We can leave it. Because logically, just like our placeholder was enabled, the text should also change. It seems logical. So okay, it remains. To make this second request, I will copy. Essentially, this is the first request. We are referring to the same action we did in the last lesson with loot late and games. I will just take this body and insert it into this function, and it will be able to call it in this request now. Copying this action, I move to the pitch area. I can copy this as we have very similarly. We will copy this action. Here, we will specify the meeting byte. So this is insert and copy the action again because I lost it. And here it is everywhere. I change it. According to the request, we will retrieve everything. We will specify -1. So this is ours. The numerical value here can be set without quotes. Next is the status published. By default, I won't do it randomly. But it's important for me to pass the parameters each here, the term I'm passing. Therefore, for web queries, I can set the letter S like this, and it will indicate that a search is being simulated. Specifically, the search in WordPress, when it refers to the web query, has this parameter in the request. And I need to pass it here. It is passed to my function via the post method, therefore I can retrieve it. But we will indeed check if we have it. This key if it exists, I will use it, but for safety reasons I will sanitize it Then run it through the function sanitize text wild to ensure cleanliness. Otherwise, there's nothing there, meaning an empty string. And I can pass this variable here as a parameter. In all other respects, we have an identical body. Nothing changes. Let's take a look. Let's simulate something non-existent. Wonderful. We got nothing found and the game's loaded. And what if we try something real? Like this. Yes, with each request, it goes into the not found. But firstly, we should have named some product test to have an example for searching. Next, let's look at our code. And here, let's open the console. Our console is purely well, it's clear why I'm not getting into this body, because it's written incorrectly here. I didn't actually get the length cert, and it always goes into this body. That's normal when there are many typos in the work. We test anew. Let's go in. Guys, on your local machine, Docker will run slowly, take a long time to load if you're working on Windows. In any case, no matter how much I struggled, such requests take a very long time to process on my local machine. When I upload this to the server, everything is instant. If I work on a Mac, everything is also instant. But on Windows, it's very slow. On one hand, it's good. We can see our animation and work slowly. But on the other hand, it's unpleasant. But you know that I haven't solved this problem yet either. Let's record a test and we get results. But from this result, there are also other games, because in them somewhere there is this word test. Let's try this. Like this with a non-existent, some kind of title. Or maybe this is the problem. Now we will make sure yes, you see, when we use a non-basic word, since WordPress by default searches both in the title and in the body, and the word test is present in the body of all products. Because I duplicated them, and there is content there. If I use the attack string, I set it, therefore. The search reacts thus, as soon as I set a non-existent one. This query will now return all. In principle, this is how this search works. We implemented it according to our plan. We will return to it later and add these icons when we have them. But for now, we will end this lesson here. See you in the next lesson.